What is up everyone? Today I've got something really special to show you guys. For those of you who don't know, we are currently in the middle of the Super Mario Bros 35th anniversary celebration, and Nintendo are doing a couple of cool little things to commemorate the anniversary. One of those things is re-releasing a Game & Watch. Now this new little Game & Watch is a really cool little device, but I don't have one of those. We're not here to talk about that. We are actually here to roll right back and talk about a couple of Game & Watch devices from back in the day. Now I'm going to put them in the frame here, and those of you who are sort of into your Nintendo collecting will realise instantly just how special these items in front of me are. So I'm going to start off by saying that these are not mine. I've borrowed these to make this video. These belong to my dad. And I'm very excited to show you these Game & Watch systems because it's very, very rare to find them like this in the box. So, the Game & Watch is basically Nintendo's first success in the video game market. 1980 these things hit the market, and they continued all the way up to 1991. They were a huge hit for Nintendo. Collectively, all these games sold just over 43 million units, which was huge for back then. The successor to these guys is the Game Boy. Everyone knows the Game Boy, of course, but these guys came first. Now, one of the key differences between the Game & Watch and the Game Boy is when you buy a Game & Watch, you buy it as the system and the game in one. It plays one game and one game only. So as you can see, this one is Pinball, and this one is Donkey Kong 2. With the Game Boy that came later, you could change the cartridges and you only bought the system once. You could play any number of games on that system. But these are just nice basic little LCD handheld game systems with the one game. They do have a couple of other functions such as a clock and an alarm, but obviously the game is the main big deal here. So with the Game & Watch, there were a few different series and models and types available. You had the Silver Series, the Gold Series. These are from a series where there were a lot of different games released in this particular format. These are called the Vertical Multi-Screen series. So there are two screens on the device and they're positioned vertically. There was also a horizontal multi-screen Game & Watch, and there was a couple of games released in that format, as well as some widescreen ones and then just the standard ones that first came out. They were part of the Silver Series. The very first game that came out in 1980 was called Ball, and that's where it all begun. But as I say, there were a good number of Game & Watches released in this format. I think it was one of the best formats for them, the multi-screen, the vertical multi-screen. And you can clearly kind of see a little bit of Nintendo DS going on here. When the DS came out, you couldn't help but think about these multi-screen Game & Watch systems. Very similar design. So, growing up, in our family, we actually had a vertical multi-screen Game & Watch, and I still have it. It's upstairs in the attic. We had a game called Squash, and it was around since before I was even born, I think. My brother and sister are quite a bit older, but I just remember it always in our family, and I'll have to dig that out one day. We don't have a box or anything for it like that, but I've still got it, and that's the one I remember from my childhood. But these two are wonderful because they've got their original boxes. Now let's take a look at Pinball first, and we'll just take a little look around the system. Let's take a look around the box first. I'll show you guys the design of the box. Very simple. Now all the Game & Watches have like a unique model number, model code. This one is PB59, Nintendo 1983. These both came out in 1983, and actually in the list of systems they're right next to each other. This one is 1983 as well, JR55 for Donkey Kong 2. Let's open up the box. And inside we've got the original polystyrene. I'm going to be quite careful here because the boxes are very old. Still quite sturdy, not majorly delicate, but I don't want to damage anything. Like I say, they're not mine. So one cool standout thing about this, as you guys can see, is the Game & Watch itself is still in its original little bag, which is very nice. Not 100% sure what would have been in this compartment, possibly the batteries. But let's pull out the Game & Watch and have a quick look what we have underneath. So as you can see, as well as being boxed, we've still got a lot of the original bits and pieces with it. So let's take a look at all of these one by one. So first of all, we've got the instructions, Game & Watch multi-screen pinball, and this will be quite detailed, I think, because this would have been a lot of people's introduction to something like this. Whereas today, you know, we're used to little gadgets and gizmos, but this was very, very early. So you can get an idea of what's on the displays there from those screenshots. I don't actually have any batteries today, unfortunately, so I won't be able to demo the games running, but you can see description of all the buttons and all the bits and pieces. So that's the instructions. What do we have here? Same thing in Japanese. How cool is that? As you can see, all in Japanese. Probably the exact same content. All of these little pieces of paper are indeed in Japanese, so absolutely no idea. But there we go. And these little stickers are in Japanese as well, but I believe in the English versions, this must be, yeah, this is a Japanese version, guys. I didn't realise. Look at this, not for sale outside of Japan. So that is really cool. What about Donkey Kong? Now, it doesn't say that on Donkey Kong. This may be one from outside of Japan then. We'll check that out when we open up Donkey Kong. So these little stickers are still intact. These would be to go over the battery compartment in the Game & Watch. Let's take it out so I can show you guys. Little plastic bag. Lovely. So the battery compartment on these, here it is. It's just a little flap of plastic, so you can slide that off quite easily. These were to stick over the battery compartment to stop small children being able to open it. And we do have some battery stored in here, unfortunately. Surprisingly, doesn't look to be any leakage in the battery compartment at all, which shocks me, actually. I would have expected there to be quite a mess in there because, well, saying that, my dad may have changed these for fresh batteries. So let's take a look at the outside before we open it up. So you can see lovely condition. This is the top label, and you can see multi-screen down there, Game & Watch multi-screen. I believe they all say multi-screen, these flip-up ones. The logo of the game in the middle, Pinball, nice artwork. And then very simple, nothing around the edges, nothing much on the bottom. Let's open her up, take a look inside. There we go, there's a knack to opening these. There you have it, there is Pinball. So we've just got two buttons on Pinball, the left and right paddles, then Game A, Game B and time. That's where you'd set your clock and your alarm. And you guys can see that there is pre-defined content on the LCD screens themselves. All the Game & Watches are like this. You'll typically see that the level itself, the platforms, whatever, depending on the game, is always there. And then just a small amount of characters move around the screen when you play it. So if we press Game A, these batteries are probably completely flat. Game A, Game B, yeah, nothing from these batteries, unfortunately. You guys can see a little bit of yellowing on the inside of this Pinball here, but overall, for its age, really good condition. So that's Pinball. Now, I'm quite glad that we've got two to show here because there is a key difference with Donkey Kong that is actually quite exciting. So let's put this back in the bag. And I would consider this pretty much complete, folks, especially with those little stickers that haven't been used, which is very, very nice. All this documentation. Let's pop it all back in there. So this is a Japanese version. I didn't even realise that before doing the video. And let's take a look at Donkey Kong 2. Now, there is the first Donkey Kong as well on Game & Watch, and that is also from the Vertical Multi-Screen series. So here's Donkey Kong 2. You guys can see no little plastic baggie in this one. Let's put this off to one side and take a little look at what we've got included with this one. It's the same original polystyrene. So we've got some old cardboard from battery packaging with batteries that are no longer in there. And then we've got our literature again. So we've got some English. So this is caution about batteries and about liquid crystal displays. So this must have been what was in the Japanese one as well, but we couldn't read it. This pink one is a little warning telling you not to take the system apart. And the last yellowish one here is showing you how to play the game, basic instructions for Donkey Kong. But we also have the full Donkey Kong 2 instructions here. So this is an English one, not a Japanese one. Quite cool that we had two here to compare. So similarly to the Pinball manual, you get your layout of the system, what the buttons do. But a key difference with this guy is, and it should be detailed in the manual here, is this beauty. This is the birth of the Nintendo D-pad, directional pad. Not specifically Donkey Kong 2, but the Game & Watch series in general. Now the Game & Watch that we had, Squash, it didn't have a D-pad, I don't think. Or did it? It may have done. I remember it having toggly red buttons, but that was a long, long time ago, so I can't remember if that was a D-pad game. But check this one out, Donkey Kong. This is a really cool design. The first Donkey Kong was orange. This one is brown, and I really like the look of it. It's got this sort of gold, shiny top here, Game & Watch. As you guys can see, again, multi-screen, and the logo of the game in the middle. So you guys can see the sort of design across the board with these systems. Again, nothing on the sides. Very simple. Let's open it up and see the glorious D-pad. I haven't got the knack for opening these. Here we go. We've got it. So here's the inside of Donkey Kong, and as you guys can see, we've got the lovely Nintendo D-pad. And yeah, for 1983, that feels nice. So on this game, unlike just the two buttons for the paddles on Pinball, we've got a D-pad and one jump button. And that's sort of a rubbery button, really nice. Game A and B in time again. All of the buttons here are the same on these Game & Watches. And again, two LCDs. And you can see what I was saying about the predefined sort of level here that's permanently on the screen as like a layer. And then you just get the LCD characters moving around in the background. So no batteries in here. So I can't show you gameplay, unfortunately, but it's very, very basic, very simple. I'm sure lots of you have seen Game & Watch gameplay. This was more to sort of demonstrate the fact that these guys are boxed and in really nice condition. So let's get a lovely shot of these systems together. I don't have one of the 35th anniversary Game & Watch remake systems to show you guys, but it's a nice bit of kit and a really nice little accessory for any Nintendo fan, I think. So I may look into getting one around January time after Christmas. It's got an LED display, backlit of course, so very convenient. It's got a full version of 1985's Super Mario Bros. On there, which is just sort of for fun. The Game & Watches could never do that. That's, you know, far more advanced. That's NES territory. But it being the 35th anniversary, they've put that on there, and it obviously plays great. I actually saw online the other day someone has got Doom running on the Game & Watch, which is really cool. But as well as that, it's got an original version of Ball. So the first Game & Watch system that was released, the first Game & Watch game that was released, so that's really cool. And there are also some Easter eggs around the system as well, and little features like the clock and whatnot. So it's a really cool little remake device. But as for these original Game & Watches right here, I wanted to show you them today because it's a very nice time to demonstrate these, the 35th anniversary of Super Mario, and they've just released the Game & Watch re-release as well. So taking a little look back at where it all begun, these are from 1983, like I say, from the dual screen series, but still lovely, lovely units. And in this condition as well with these boxes, quite rare. You don't come across this sort of thing often, and Nintendo collecting is only getting more and more popular, so all the Nintendo stuff is creeping up in price. So huge thanks to my dad for allowing me to show you guys these systems today on video. I've borrowed them, now I've got to give them back unfortunately, but it's been great fun to have a little look at them today, and I hope you guys have enjoyed this little bit of retro gaming goodness on the channel. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.